Hi, welcome back to Sewing Sunday. Today I'm going to be doing something very similar to the little mug rug hot mat thingy, but it's going to be a quiet mat, and I'm using a real soft print and one of my favorites in brown, of course. And I've picked up my thread, and what I'm going to do is I've got this little iron-on fusible fleece, and I'm going to be, not this piece because it's too small, but I'm going to iron it on so that it makes it a little bit more cushiony. And the reasoning behind my quiet mat is if I drop anything on the table, it drives me crazy that it's so loud, especially if it's like a pen or a marker. So if I drop it here, it's no big deal. And that's a quiet mat, and I'm going to be doing something I think is called crazy quilting once I have it all finished. I haven't actually done it before, but I've been dreaming about doing it, so today's the day I'm finally going to be doing that. Okay, I've got two rectangles. They're 13 inches by double that as 26 inches, and I've got two of them. And the first thing I'm going to do is iron the fleece onto the back of, this is just sort of a cotton, and, well, it is a cotton. So I'm going to cut out a piece of this just under, so I'm going to do it 12 by 25 inch piece and iron it on. Ironed the piece on to the inside of the cotton piece, and then this flannelly one will end up going like this, but to sew it I'm going to have it right sides together because, you know, we've heard that a million times. And I'm going to leave a little bit of an opening so that I can turn it right side out, and then I'm going to do the crazy quilting. Time to get out the sewing machine. I've got my trusty pin cushion that used to be a bracelet holder, and I'm just going to do it pretty much on the edge of the fusible fleece. I'm going to cut the corners so that when I pull it right side out, there won't be such a bunch of fabric there. There were a few spots where I didn't really cut it this isn't cut perfectly. Of course, a person could cut it perfectly, but that wouldn't be me. Now I'm going to turn it right side out. Guess that was pretty easy. Could have made it smaller. So there's many ways to make a nice corner. One with a pin. You can use chopstick. Some people use chopsticks. Then there's that wooden thing that I used earlier. Not sure what this is called. Or you can just wiggle it out with your fingers. So there's plenty of different ways to do it. Just don't poke a hole in the fabric. I've done that before. Do not do that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is iron it so it's exactly, or as close to exactly as I can get it. And then I'm going to do a top stitch. I'm gonna just iron it as perfectly as I can. So when you lay it down, you don't see like this hanging up or the opposite. I hope I don't mess it up now. As I was ironing the edge here, I was wondering if it was too messed up, like overlap or something when you're trying to sew it. How would I fix that? And I think I would use some sort of ribbon maybe, or make it intentionally one larger than the other. Okay, so now I'm going to do a top stitch covering this up, or I should say closing this up, and then go all the way around. I'm just going to stay nice and close to the edge. It's all top stitched. It's not perfect once again, but one side looks good and the other side looks like I don't know what I'm doing, but whoever said I knew what I was doing, right? The next step I want to do is the crazy quilting, but I need to keep this in kind of steady, so I'm just going to make a couple maybe 2-inch marks, strips of sewing here and here, up just a few of them, and then I can do some of that wild stuff. If I had double fusible fleece where I could fuse it onto both sides, then I would definitely use a trim, you know, add a trim to it, and then I think it'd be easier to do the crazy quilting. I don't know, but I'm going to do it Alice's way because I don't know any better. So I tack it in place. And one up, down, middle, up, down, middle, up, down. I think that should work. I've trimmed off all the little bits of string that I left behind, and I think it looks pretty good. You can see on this side more of what's happening, where I've got the little tags that go in there. It's not that noticeable actually. And now I get to do the crazy quilting. And you won't be able to see it too much on this side, but you'll be able to see some of it on this side. And I'm just trying to maybe do quadrants of something. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to be able to, I'll start and stop at certain points. It won't be just one continuous flow. I think that might be too difficult for my sewing machine because I don't have enough width this way to be able to stick my fabric in any old which way to, you know, I want to do it. I think it'll turn out okay. And if not, it'll be good enough. I've been putting this off for like an hour. I am a little tiny wee bit nervous that I'm going to completely booger this up. I just have to gird my loins and let's get on with it. And it's just, I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm trying to be messy and wild and woolly. Not too crazy. I do love a good wave. Maybe I should just do a bunch of little waves. There you go. That way I'm not actually being very creative. The more creative I feel like I'm trying to be, the harder it is to be creative. Does anyone else feel that way? Maybe I can try to, it's just that it's so big I can't really do a swirl, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to do like a swirl. Okay, not cute. But again, I'm learning. Or maybe I'm not learning. I'm just totally doing it wrong. And ignorance is bliss. Woo! flip the fabric around so I don't have as much to deal with. And this is the area I'm going to try one more swirl and see how that goes. Hook. Is it any better? Absolutely not. It's no better. Maybe 1% better. I think if I just had this size piece, I could really maneuver it and then maybe sew all the pieces together. So it's like a quilt or a patch. It's all a bunch of patches and then sew them together. That might be interesting. Maybe I'll try that another time. Last one. I'm gonna see if I can do it tighter. This is my hope that I can do more than 3. That's a good hope. More than 3. Let's try 4. I'm trying really for 6. But this is a lot of fabric. I don't know. Let's bunch it up and see what happens. If this was a stiffer fabric, like 2 of these, or canvas or something, it might help, but this is so smushy and airy that that could be part of why I'm not doing a good job, but you know, live and learn. Try to do, I have these little hearts here that I'm going to try to do some of those hearts. That's cute. All right, what else can we do? Let's do, oh, I like that too. That's kind of like crazy quilting. What else can we do? That's funny. The perfect and the imperfect. Shoot. Why do I make myself laugh like that? Okay. The hearts seem to go on a straight line. Everything else is slightly curved. So let's just do some more hearts then. Okay. So that's a good way to disguise it. Or you can actually lay these down first as your little line to keep everything in place. That would have been a great idea. If only I had thought of it first. Okay. This is 62. Looks like a flower or something. Or I literally have no idea what it is. Okay, let's start here. See, it started at the bottom, made a loopy-doo, and then came back. So I think it's some kind of flower. I think that's what that is. All right, anything else I want to do? There seems to be a spot here. Let's cover that up with something. I don't know if that's from ink. No, it looks like a thread. Don't pull it out, just leave it. All right, what do we want to do? Flower and 2 flowers? I don't know what that is. Okay, let's do that. It's like 2 different kinds of flowers. 2 of one and 1 of another. Or else it's a pack of leaves and 2 flowers. I don't know. A lot of these designs I can't tell whether it's finished or not. Like, it just keeps going and going and going. Did I not change the number? It says 62. Oh, nuts. I was supposed to change it to 74. Okay. I'm like, why do I have 2 of the exact same ones? All right, never mind. Let's do it over here then. Let's see, do I have any space left? Yes, right here. Okay, now let's do, where was I? 74. That's cute. Now that it's finished, let's take a good look. You can't even tell on this side what I did at first glance. When it gets into the lighter stuff, you can kind of see it. But the darker, you can't really see it. But if we flip it over, that's when you can see it all. My hearts and my zigzags, not swirls, I don't know what they're called. Waves, I guess. And then the flower there. My swirl, that was my second swirl. Got the little flowers. My big first swirl. Little hearts. More hearts. Bunch of squares. I really like that. I think that's cool. But I think overall it looks kind of neat. I like it. Now we're going to do the test. Might as well put it on this. Well, this is soft. We already know it's going to test out well. Let's try this. First on the IKEA tabletop. Ooh, listen to that. Ooh, now listen. Nice. Yeah. And then the big test. Let's listen for the pin to drop, right? Can you hear that? Now listen for the pin to drop. Did you hear it? Did it happen? All right. And you can even use it as a pin cushion. So the first one I made, the very first one I made, hey Boo, coming in to say hi? I made it just the exact same size as my planner so that I could, well, it's not exactly the same size. There's a little bit of some area up at top so I can put, you know, my pen or whatever I happen to be using. It's got a snap on it, so every time I open it up, the snap scratches the table and everything, and I can't stand that sound. But it's also big enough where it can just hang over the edge of the table and make it easier for me, you know, so it doesn't like cut into my skin. I like how it's just, I mean, you can make it as a tablecloth, or not a tablecloth, you can make it as a table runner or a placemat or any size you want. But this is my quiet pad or a quiet mat. You can call it whatever you want. And I enjoyed making it. You can use a firmer fusible fleece, so like a firmer fusible fabric in there, and that might help too. Or just if I had maybe ironed the fusible fleece onto the fleece, that might have made it firm enough to so that there's not all these little weird like air bubble pockety things. The quiet pad has been made. And my drink. Look at that. Happy Sunday.